Well, welcome back, everybody, to the Black Doctors Talk podcast. I am your host, Dr. Christopher Holmes, and a member of the Black Doctoral Network. Today, buckle up, people. This is going to be a good one. Not that I ever disappoint, but this is going to be a good one. Today, I am joined by Dr. Samose L, who's a two-time college dropout and who is now the founder of the Minority Recreational Leadership Academy. He's also a national speaker, educator, and leadership expert who values dedication, service, and excellence. He's going to use real world examples when he works with you. And I'm claiming that he's going to work with you guys. And so Dr. Mays always loves to shine light on how the invaluable talent each person brings to your organization can positively impact the mission that you have in place. Guys, I told you, get ready, buckle up. I hope you got your bucket ready for all these gems he's about to drop. All right. Welcome, Dr. Mays.
Hey, listen, my brother, I'm honored to be here. Listen, this is your stage. I'm just here being a part of it.
Man, listen, today I'm just a plank. Walk all over me, brother. Walk all over me. I am ready. So listen, let's just start. Let's jump right in. Where does this whole thing begin for you?
Man, it started when I thought that I had it all figured out. I don't need a college degree. I don't need this. Look at all these people that made it without college. I dropped out. My parents convinced me to go back. I dropped out again. And I said, I'm dropped out. So for 9 years, I tried to prove that I didn't need a college degree. And every year I was wrong. Because I would get to a certain level and whatever I was doing, whatever job I had, and they would say, hey, you're doing a great job, but hey, you don't have a degree, so we can't give you the promotion. We can't give you the raise. And I just got tired of hearing that, brother. And in 2009, I quit 2 full-time jobs and went back to school full-time.
Wow. So tell me this, when you take us back to young Samose, who was young Samose compared to this 9-year defiant individual who said he wanted to live life on his own terms? How did you grow up? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Statesboro, Georgia. 2 parents, 2 great parents, Henry Mays, Elvira Mays. My mom had me doing book reports in the summers. She had me reading, and I probably could have graduated from college at 9 years old if I had. And I think what things kind of went left for me. My mom passed away from cancer my junior year of high school, and I think when that happened, I know when that happened, I lost my focus. I was just on autopilot from the things she had taught me that senior year of high school and even going into college, and I just lost my focus. And I think that's what happened. But she instilled so much into me for those 17 years that I had her, that once I got back refocused, I was ready. I was ready.
The good thing is she had instilled so many great foundational pieces in you. You didn't lose them. You just kind of lost sight of them, but they came back to you. And see, that right there is already a message for somebody. I'm only one question in, and you're already telling people, when we lose our firm foundation, when we lose what is comfortable, when we lose what makes us feel safe, sometimes we get distracted, right? We get lost. We veer away from what we know to be true. We try to find a new way. But the great thing is life is like a revolving door. You can come back to it if you make the choice to do it. And so 9 years, literally in and out of college, like dropping out, going to work, dropping out. And you say, you know what, it's not for me. But then you kept hearing the same message, degree. And then Dr. Mays says, you know what? Maybe these people are right. Maybe there's something to this whole degree thing that I may actually needed to be successful.
Yeah. And I hadn't cracked the book for those 9 years. I hadn't cracked the book. I hadn't written anything. I was so disconnected from education, but I just got so frustrated. I said, you know what? My mom put it in me. I'm going to bring it back up, and I'm going to get back in here. And I was 32 years old, sitting in class with 18 and 19-year-olds. And this time around, I was sitting in the front of the class instead of the back.
Yeah, I bet. So tell me this. What new mindset did you go into that classroom with that third time around, I guess I should say, than you did the first two?
I'm about to bring up somebody's name, Mr. Eugene Smith. My first day back in class, I had a panic attack. I had an anxiety attack because I saw how much the books cost. I saw my advisor had put me in about 6 classes. I don't know why she did that. And I'm walking across the campus with all these books and all these syllabi and all these things. And I seen a brother named Eugene Smith, and he said, "Hey man, what's going on? You look down. What's going on?" I said, "Hey man, I'm back in school. I'm 32. I think I should have just stayed, dropped out." And I thought this brother was gonna say, "Yeah, that's what you need to drop back out." He looked at me and he said, "You know what, man? If it was easy, everybody would do it." And when he said that, that's what catapulted me to say, "You know what? I'm not gonna stop until I have every degree that's offered." When he said
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Wow. And so you didn't lie. you didn't say one degree. You said every degree. And
Yeah.
so that's what you did. You
Yep.
embarked on a 7-year journey
Mm-hmm.
and you completed 4 degrees, 3 degrees. How many degrees?
3. It felt like 4, but yeah, it was 3.
3
Yeah.
degrees. I mean, I want people to hear that. This man is 32 years old, enrolls back in undergraduate.
Mm-hmm.
And in
Yeah.
7 years, he completes a bachelor's, a master's, and earns, keyword, earns
Mm-hmm.
doctorate.
Yeah.
What allowed you to stay focused and to finish the goal?
Because I had been a knucklehead and partying and just doing the things that didn't matter, the things that didn't have any substance in my life. And I was at rock bottom. And when they say when you hit rock bottom, there's only one way you can go. And when I was
Yeah.
back in those classes, I saw the work differently. The things on the bulletin board, on the overhead, I saw them differently. The things the professors were saying, I could finally hear them. And I was like, these people are here to help me. These people are trying to instill something in me that I'm going to be able. And I said, you know what? And if I complete this mission, oh my goodness, the motivator I will be for people who have given up or people who thought that, I could never go back. I said, if I complete this journey, I can help millions of people. And I think that is what kept me on course of the people that I could help. And when it was over,
If you could go back, would you do any of it differently?
I wouldn't, because I think it was ordained for it to be this way. For me to be here sitting in front of you today, for me to be at that great conference last week and having the privilege to speak, I know that it was supposed to happen this way, and God used me to make it happen this way.
Yeah. Vessel of service.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about this doctorate thing now. You could have stopped at the master's, but you didn't. What made you say to yourself, I want to keep going. I want to get the doctorate.
So I'm walking on campus again, right? At this time, I'm getting ready to graduate with my master's, and I see my father's supervisor. His name is Mr. Sidney Dean, and he was the supervisor in my father's department on campus. And I seen him, and I shook his hand. I said, "Yeah, Mr. Sidney, man, I'm about to graduate Saturday with my master's." And he was like, "All right, brother, you did that so quick. You need to go ahead and get that doctorate." So I said, "I never thought of that." So I said, "You know what? I finished this master's in a little over a year. I did it pretty quick. Yeah, I am going to do that." So once again, I just said, "Hey, this guy said it. He's being positive. I'm going to try it. Let's see what happens." I had never thought I would be Dr. Mays in my life. I never didn't strive to really do that. But when he said that, it was confirmation that it needed to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. But now this doctorate journey was not an easy one for you.
Right.
So talk to us a little bit about the journey. I mean, I don't want to say pitfalls, but it definitely had some stumbling blocks along the way. So kind of share that whole experience that you went through.
Well, the story is so romantic when you tell it, 7 degrees and 3 degrees in 7 years. But there's a real life scenario here. When you quit 2 full-time jobs, that means that you're not bringing in any income.
Yeah.
There's still bills that need to be paid. I had a son that was born during this time. You got to put gas in your car. I really struggled, and I probably should have let it go when I got the master's. I should have just went and found a job, but I had done this so fast, and I made all these A's and president's lists, and I said, I cannot break this now. When I enrolled into that and got accepted into that doctoral program, that was, on a personal side, that was probably a mistake. So I was actually already homeless before I got accepted into that doctoral program.
Stop right there.
Yeah.
We can't gloss over that. I don't want anybody to miss this.
Yeah.
When you got accepted into your doctoral program, you were homeless.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was homeless for most of the master's program. I was. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was, thank goodness the master's program was online because I didn't have any money for a computer. I just utilized, the library, research centers, and anywhere I could go, people that would let me use their computer. So I pretty much completed my master's with just the grace of God and just people helping me out. I didn't have anything to do those things on my own.
Wow. God, I'm telling y'all, some of you all out there making excuses about why you can't do work and why you don't have time to study. Did you hear this brother? This brother said he didn't even have a computer.
No.
He finished a master's, most of the master's program, homeless, and he didn't own a computer. He got it done. He applied to a doctorate program, got accepted in the same condition that he ended the master's in. Things didn't get better.
No.
But he didn't stop. Right. So let this be a motivation to somebody, which is why he's a motivational speaker. That excuses, they're not necessary because they're not going to help you meet the goal. So you start the doctorate program homeless. Continue, brother.
Well, at that time, I had moved to Jacksonville, and like I said, I went there for a job, but I wasn't making enough money to get an apartment. So for those 6 or 7 months that I was in Jacksonville, I was sleeping in the back of my car, training at LA Fitness and working at a local rec center, and that's what I did. I utilized, the local libraries to on that program, and like I said, I just accepted that I was going to be homeless and I was never going to have enough money to really have a normal life. So I just survived. I took showers at LA Fitness and got my work done the best I could. Those 10-page papers I was writing, I was doing those at the community center. And I said, you know what? The only thing that kept me going was, hey, I'll be Dr. Mays one day and I'll be able to tell my story and help people. That's really what kept me going.
It sounds like all you needed was faith and a flash drive. That's all. That's
it. That should have been a chapter in my book.
Faith and a flash drive. That's all you needed, man.
That's all I had. That was it. Yeah.
I mean, and granted, things were tough, but thank God for LA Fitness. They had a shower. They had facilities you could use. Thank God for public places where you can go and work. Right. So again, you sought out the resources that you could and that you needed, and you just took full advantage of them. You couldn't make an excuse for what you didn't have because you didn't have it.
Right.
And so all of this, working, showering, working somewhere to do your papers, studying, and then sleeping in your car, and you do it over and over and over again as each day comes along.
Yeah. And it went on that way. And when things are happening that way, you kind of get used to it and you get into a routine and that's all you can really do. And like I said, I just stayed positive, and I knew it wasn't going to be something I was going to have to go through forever. I knew God was putting me through it just as a test to see, if I really wanted it, and I did, and I got through it. Yeah.
Did you hear your mother's voice talking to you the whole time you were in the program? It was pushing you along.
Yeah. And like I said, the grades I was making were exceptional, and those were the positive things that kept me going. I was like, my personal life is not that great. I said, but my academic life is awesome. So I held on to that to get me through.
And so I know you mentioned LA Fitness. You're working at a rec center, so there was a lot of experience in recreational activities in your life. Were you a high school athlete?
Yeah, I was. I played football and I ran track, and those were things that I look at to this day, and I'm like, I did some great things athletically. But my father was an athlete, and my mom, was the scholar. So I always had the best of both worlds. Yeah. So as I got older, I just migrated more, to the academic side because she instilled so much in me,
So when you finish that doctorate, talk to me just a little bit about the level of pride that you had in yourself for getting it done.
Well, I knew that when I got that different doors were going to open up. And I always wanted to be a speaker. I always wanted to motivate people, and I had the perfect formula to talk to people, but I wanted to be a different speaker. I wanted to be the type of speaker that's very transparent. I make mistakes. Sometimes, things happen to you, and I wanted to just open my life to be an open book because I felt like people want to hear somebody that's really been through something and really got through it. And as a motivational speaker, I think that's the number one thing, being transparent and letting people know, hey, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but you can come back. If you really focus,
And so you took some of those thoughts and you put them in a book.
Yeah.
And so in the book, Leadership Skills from a Former Follower, a Blueprint for Success. Why was writing that book so important?
Listen, let me tell you something about that book. People were telling me, you need to write a book, and I was like, no, the story's not done. But I was only saying that as an excuse because I didn't want to write a book. That was just a nice little catchy phrase. The story's not over. You need to
Yeah.
write your book. So I remember one day, God just told me it's time. And I actually wrote the manuscript in 7 days.
Woo, woo.
I wrote it in 7 days, and me not knowing that it takes a while to get a book published, right? I reached out to a publisher, wrote the book in 7 days. A week later, found the publisher that accepted it. And,
Wow.
and I had no idea that happens that quick because I didn't know anybody that wrote a book. I didn't have anybody telling me anything. I'm just like, okay, God told me to write the book. I'm going to write it. I just stayed up all night for 7 days, wrote it, and got it out, told my story. But I tried to use my story to help people not make the mistakes I made.
Yeah.
Wow.
The title itself is beautiful.
Yeah.
I love From a Former Follower. I love it. I love that. Not only did you write a book, you also founded a company. So tell us a little bit about that.
The Minority Recreational Leadership Academy, when I would go to these conferences and I would see speakers, I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me.
Yeah.
I didn't. And I didn't see a lot of people, that delivered like me, that had the style of speaking as me. And I was like, there's a lot of people that I think have the ability to do this, but I just don't think they know how. So I founded that organization as a way to try to train and consult and help people become speakers and to get their message out. And I'm been meeting so many great people as I've been speaking, but that's what it's all about. That's all about people having a voice and being heard.
Yeah. And I think it's so much bigger than people think about when they think about recreation in the communities. I know for me, my community centers, my recreational and my activities, they were the core of who I was. Besides school, I spent my time in recreational centers. In the summers, after school, that's where I was. And you're right. The people that ran those organizations, they were in my community, but they didn't look like the people in my community.
Right.
And I never thought about that. I just figured, growing up, I think the mindset is, well, we don't have the money, right? We may not have the education. So I almost thought it to be a privilege that they would be kind enough to come and serve in our communities. I never thought about it until I got older, how important it would have been for me to see people that look like me running those organizations, running those community centers and recs. And I never thought about that. And so I think what you're doing is definitely in a lane of its own, definitely necessary. Because now as we talk about community looks a little different now. And the other thing too, and this is not to go against certain genders, but to see a Black man in leadership for many young boys who are playing sports and at rec centers could be very powerful, because Black men in many cases in some communities, in certain homes, they're anomalies.
Yeah.
They're anomalies. And so what is the response you've gotten so far from the work you've done with the Minority Leadership Recreational?
A great response. And every time I go somewhere and I speak, and I always come back to that place a year later, it's always a few people in the audience that are now speaking, and that's the goal, for people to have a voice. And I think I'm doing some great work with it. I'm going to continue on with it. Yep.
What's one thing you wish you would have known earlier on in your career?
Oh, I wish I would have known that I can't be stopped.
Yeah.
I'm the only person that can stop me, and I learned that. And now that I know that, the sky's the limit, and I'm going to keep pushing because I know that, I'm the only person that can stop me from doing these things. And I'm definitely not going to hold myself back.
Yeah. And, when you say that, I get this visual of a old school tape recorder. And what I want to do, I can see your life, like your name is on that tape recorder, and all you did was you pulled that stop button off. You can pause me.
Yeah.
The only other button you can use is play.
That's right.
You can't stop me.
That's right.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So in this work as a speaker, you got the Minority Recreational Leadership Academy. You writing books. What do you want your legacy to be?
I want my legacy to be that I was the greatest transformational leader ever.
Yeah.
And when I say transformational, I want to be the known as that person who helped people realize things they could do things they never thought they could do. To transform someone, to take someone, who's not sure about what they want to do, not sure about who they want to be, not sure about what they want to say, and to see them later on after I've spent time with them being great. And also my legacy to be a servant leader, to serve
Yeah.
communities, to serve people. So my thing is, I made it. I got through the program. I got the doctorate, but now I want to see other people realize their dreams as well. And that's what I want to spend the rest of my days doing. My legacy is to help people do things they never thought they could do. You know.
Who was that person as you've gone through this journey who has helped you along the way?
Oh, without a doubt, my wife, Dominique Mays. I mean, she's so tough on me, but it's needed. Because she knows my potential. And sometimes I'm like, man, do you even believe in me? But she believes in me so much that she knows she has to be tough because there's so much potential in me, so many things that I can do. So I love her so much, and she's been there with me, and I appreciate her so much.
Yeah, I tell people a support system is necessary. It doesn't matter what you're doing. We talk about it in this platform as for many of those who are going through the doctorate program, and everybody will tell you, you can't do this by yourself. You need somebody, if not a team of people that have your back, because it is critically important. Because this work, when you're working on the degree, can be very isolating because many people don't understand it. They've never done it. They don't understand the stress, the requirements, the mental capacity that it takes to push out 10 pages sometimes. And you got 60 more to go.
Yeah.
And so it's tough. And so we want to salute your wife, Mrs. Mays, for having your back and for being the leader and the woman that she is. Because listen, it takes one to know one.
Yeah. Very, very rigorous program, very rigorous. But you know what? Like you said, you earn those things.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm so proud that I was able to do it. And I want to see so many other people do the same thing. If they have that dream and that goal, I really want to see them do it and have that same feeling I felt when my chair said, well, Dr. Mays. I said, wow, I'm Dr. Mays now.
Wow. Almost you want to start looking around like, who? Oh, that's me.
That's right. Great feeling. Yeah.
It's an amazing feeling. What advice would you give to someone who's watching this? And this is a two-part question. Either they're thinking about starting the doctorate and they're not quite sure, or for the person that wants to start the doctorate, but they don't believe in themselves.
I would tell them sometimes in your life, you have to go off and be by yourself. And you have to just think, what I want to do? Because sometimes people can be so negative. When I would ask people, I never got anything positive. Oh, why do you need that? You're going to be overeducated. What are you going to use that for? And I had to pull myself away and said, I want this because this is something that I want. This is a goal that I want. I want to look in the mirror. I want to be Dr. Mays. I want to do these things that everybody's not doing. So I would tell a person, if it's something that you want to do and you're thinking about it, don't think about it. Just do it. Don't ask anybody. If it came across your mind and God sent you that, do it. Because when you get it, that education is something that no one can ever take away from you.
At this point in your life, how do you define success?
Oh, wow. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, Dr. Mays, what's your best successful moment? And I looked at him and I said, the next one. I don't want to look back. I want to look ahead. And success to me is continuing to strive for greatness. That's success to me.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. In my opinion, when I read your story and I did my research on you, a lot of the work that I talk about in education focuses on perseverance.
Yeah.
Because I work with a lot of teachers, a lot of leaders who are in impoverished settings, right? Achievement has never been a commonplace for them. They've always struggled to try to move the needle for students. So in order to do that kind of work in those type of places, you just have to learn how to be tough and persevere through all of the difficulties in life. How would you describe the journey that you're currently on when you think about where you were 5-7 years ago? Let's talk about this new journey, this new season that Dr. Mays is on.
Listen, brother, every time I get in front of an audience or I get in front of people, I have no idea what I'm going to say. And when I'm done, it's a standing ovation. People coming up and want to shake my hand, and I know that's coming from one place. That's coming from God.
Yeah.
He's given me the words. I was obedient. I went through the trials and tribulations to become these things. So he's going to continue to give me the words, and I'm going to continue to be in front of these audiences and motivating people, helping people, telling people you can do it. If one person believes in you, that's all you need. So that is where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
The message is what it's all about right now.
Yeah. I was just thinking that you have a microphone, but it's not about the mic. It's about the message. And I know there are so many things that we haven't even touched on in this interview. I mean, when I just think about being homeless, we talked about not having actual housing, right? But we didn't talk about food. We didn't talk about clothing. We didn't talk about relationships. You said you had a child. I mean, there were several things that were going on that you had to block out.
Yeah.
You couldn't prioritize because you kept your mind singly focused on that degree. So I know that when you get in front of a crowd, whether it's 5 or 500, it's a powerful story that you're sharing.
Yeah.
And for those that feel like they're in hopeless situations, you're just giving them a blueprint, an example, a model for it ain't over.
Right.
It ain't over. It may seem bad, but let me tell you, it's going to get better.
And you know what? When you say that, my story could get as deep as you want it to get, because like you said, there's so much that we haven't talked about that I went through. Being in a big city, homeless, sleeping in my car, some of the things I would see at night, some of the things I would hear, trying to survive off $10 to eat for a week. I mean, it was rough.
Yeah.
So when I do get in front of people, I can go anywhere with it. But I think the message is definitely earned for everything I do.
And as I sit here talking to you and I'm looking behind you and I see those degrees, those degrees were just part of your destiny.
Right.
When your mom passed you, you didn't see those degrees in your future. But I truly believe that the divine did.
Yeah.
And so he set you up to go through everything you've gone through so that now you can take this message as a ministry to help change other people's lives and to do it authentically, not to do it as somebody else, but to do it and walk fully present as Dr. Samose Mays and tell that story and walk away just as proud as you did when you walked in the door. There's no shame. It's just a message. That's my past. And so I love what you're doing. I love where you're doing it. I need to see this in a higher ed setting. I need you in classes. Students need to be hearing from you. And I know you've done some adjunct work, but I can only imagine when you walk into a classroom, the type of experience that you give to students.
Yeah, most definitely. Because like I said, there's always going to be students that need a extra push. They need to hear somebody that struggled like me, somebody that's going through what I'm going through, somebody that lost a parent, somebody that lost their focus and made it out successfully. Hey, the second time I dropped out of college, I had a 0.29 GPA.
Ooh.
Okay, that's how because I was dropping classes. So I remember my first semester back, I was on the president's list, and they said, "Congratulations! Oh, and by the way, you're still on academic probation."
Wow!
Because my GPA was so low.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's once again it's the high, but then there's the low. It keeps you in the middle, keeps you grounded.
Now, for those of you that don't know, I'm a Georgia boy. So if you don't know where Statesboro, Georgia is, don't be mad at yourself. It's literally a dot. The biggest thing there is the university.
That's right.
So just know he's from a very small town. So it's amazing what you're doing. Where do you see yourself going in the next 5 to 10 years? Where do you see yourself?
The next 5 to 10 years, I want to have a couple more books, but I want to continue to drive this message home. Listen, when I was at the conference last week, man, I only had 15 minutes and I only used 12 of them. And I know I touched some people in that room.
Yeah.
And God has told me, brother, I want you to speak. And that's just, it's like therapy to me.
Yeah.
You know, it's therapy. It's like, because I know that I'm making a difference in so many people's lives. So writing books, speaking, mentoring, that's just where I'm going to go with it. You know?
I'm really looking forward to the MLRA conference.
Ah,
That's what I'm looking forward to,
yeah,
because I can see other people that you have supported and you've mentored coming back and pouring into more younger leaders who are wanting to do the same type work.
yeah,
I think putting everybody in one space and spreading the message could be a powerful experience, just like you just had this past weekend.
yeah, most
Because it's
definitely.
not something they see a lot of.
Yeah,
And so just think, I'm just planting the seed. It could be virtual, just to start off, just getting it going.
yeah,
But eventually I can see an in-house 2 or 3 day conference.
yeah.
I think
Yes,
that'll be a
sir.
great thing.
Yes, sir.
So now we love having individuals like you, great thinkers, those who love to serve, academics, in the Black Doctoral Network. So let's talk a little bit about your experience with us and how's it
Okay.
been going so far?
Man, it's been great. When I discovered, the Black Doctoral Network, I felt right at home as soon as I joined. Getting the emails about what's going on. I've been on a couple panels. I presented virtually, presenting in person for the first time, this past week. So, oh man, and then look, I'm here with you today. So it's like one thing that I noticed about the network is that you guys do a great job of knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe I spoke at this conference and now I'm here doing this. The Black Doctors Talk podcast is like, okay, so they somebody knows me. Somebody knows what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it's like you guys are really in tune with your members, and I love it, and it's something that I want to be a part of. As long as I'm doing these things, I definitely want to be a part of it because I feel it right at home with this organization. I do.
When I joined BDN, I too had no clue that it even existed. I
Hmm.
signed up for a conference because I wanted to do a presentation on some of my dissertation work. And it was by far the most fulfilling experience I had ever had in academia.
Hmm.
Um, I had never felt the way I felt in a space. There was a sense of pride. There was a sense of excitement. There was a sense of anticipation about what the future holds. Being in a room with all of those free thinking, intellectual African Americans was just
Hmm.
powerful.
Yeah.
But to be intimidated but safe at the same time, I've never felt that anywhere.
Hmm.
And so the conference just does that for people. It is
Right.
just a life-changing experience. And so thank you so much for however you found us. Thank you for finding us. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being active with us, because it is our goal to continue to give experts like yourself a voice and to
Yeah.
share your message with the world. And that's what we really want to do. And so I want to thank you for just taking time out of your busy day to join me and have this conversation. Thank you for your transparency. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for being so humble, but also thank you for being so amazing, brother. I really appreciate you. Dr. Mays, if you would not mind, tell our viewers and our listeners where they can go to learn more about you and the work that you're doing.
The Minority Recreational Leadership Academy is mrlainfo.com. I'm doing great things, trying to empower young leaders, trying to help people, accomplish their goals and dreams. Leadership at mrlainfo.com. Reach out to me. I'm going to respond right back to you. I'm a person that wants to see people do great things from a transformational leadership side. So that's just what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to help other people and just trying to, help people realize their dreams.
Yeah, he's tapping into that potential, people. So connect with him. This man is doing great work, and I know he would love to share with you. And if he can put you on the track that God has for you, let's go and just be real, right? Just put
That's
you on
right.
the track that God has for you. We're just going to put it just like that. We're not going to be ashamed about that. And
That's
so
right.
go and follow Dr. Mays. Guys, while you're over there following Dr. Mays, let's take a little bit of time to follow the Black Doctoral Network. We would really appreciate it. We would appreciate connecting with you and sharing with you as well. As I promised you, this has been a wonderful, wonderful interview with Dr. Samose Mays. This man is on the move, guys. It's not a denial. Sometimes it's just a delay to move you into your final destiny. So thank you so much, Dr. Mays, for being here. We hope that you guys join us next time for another amazing guest. Until then, like I always say, go and tell somebody about BDN, guys. You're talking about everything else. Go run and tell this. Until then, guys, be safe, be blessed. Peace.